But I tell people weight loss should be a byproduct. I'm going to do all these things because those are the right things to do. That's my goal. And if the weight loss happens, or if I become healthier, that's good, right? It's not the goal. Eat your food like medicine. Eat your food like medicine, or you will be eating medicine like food, right? I wanted to talk about nutrition. So, what kind of food we can eat that can reduce our risk of development of dementia? So, most of the time, whenever the food thing comes out, uh, people focus on what you are eating, right? Like, is the blueberries good for me, or flax seeds are good for me? But I don't think it's the one item. I think it's the whole food pattern that we eat has a much bigger impact rather than one or two things. Like somebody can be eating nuts every day, but then at the same time they eat the pizza for the rest of their hunger. So is it good? Not enough. So when I eat, I usually go through this list. Is this food that I'm eating is made out of love or made out of profit? It sounds so simple, right? But if you look at all ultra processed food, even with the fancy advertising and fancy marketing, it's made in a way that they have to have lowest quality ingredient that you eat the most, and that's how they make money, right? All these food companies, like why as a whole country we are getting bigger and bigger, right? Because we are all eating more and more and more than we used to. Like why is that? Is it like self-control issue? It can be, because why would our self-control change in just last 200 years, right? Like humans are the same for millennia. It's not what our self-control problem is the food that we are eating, it's devoid of fiber, right? If you're a company that wants you to eat more, they take the fiber out of it and they take the water out of it. So what happens? You chew less. You have seen this new food when you put it in your mouth and it dissolves. There is a reason why it dissolves, because you don't have to chew it. The less you chew it, the less your brain recognizes that you are eating, so you end up eating more. Uh, so there are lots of other ways ultra-processed food is bad for you, but I'll stop at that point. So try avoiding eating ultra-processed food, even though it may have fancy marketing, right? It may say it's high protein or low calorie or low fat. If it is ultra-processed, try avoiding it. Then why we are eating, right? We should be eating for nourishment, not because I'm feeling sad or I'm bored. You can be eating the most nutritious food, but if you are eating because you are bored, that may not be the right way to think. Eat it. Like when to eat. I think this is so important. People forget it. The same food that you eat at 12 o'clock compared to 9 o'clock. So like 12 o'clock afternoon food versus 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. food, same number of calories, has completely different effect on your body. So ideally, person should eat at the same time every day. I personally do intermittent fasting. I'm not asking any one of you to do it, except you talk to your doctor, right? Make sure if you have diabetes and all of the things, if you have thought through it really well, intermittent fasting is good. Fasting in general is good, right? Like as humans, we are eating way more calories than we used to eat. We just have access to abundance of food that is very unnatural from a species evolution perspective. It's also about how we eat, right? Like most of you, including myself, we eat as fast as we can so we can move on to the next thing that we're doing. The problem with that our system is not ready to absorb what we are eating, right? So it's not about, we become what we eat, right? Like most of people have heard that. But I believe we become what we absorb. So if your gut is not ready to absorb the food that you are eating, it cannot make the best things out of it. So you have to put your gut in a parasympathetic mode. Like sympathetic mode is like fight and flight, versus parasympathetic mode is rest and digest. So if you do mindful eating, like being in the presence, like Roger knows this, right? Like you pray before you eat. There is a scientific reason for it, right? It gets you into the right mode. You're paying attention. You're being grateful to what you're eating. And you think about people who made that food, like you feel the food moving in your mouth and not looking at a phone. Like most people I have seen, like they are eating the food, they're staring at their phone, or they are looking at a TV screen, right? So that's not how we're designed to eat. And then comes what we eat, right? So I think all the fight about this diet is great versus that diet is great, I think it's meaningless. It's a very small portion of what we are eating. I think if we take care of the above part, this debate usually goes away. Like I personally feel that whole food, plant-based diet is the best. But does it mean that you can't eat meat? No, you can't eat meat. You can eat whatever you want to eat. But you fill up your plate with what you should eat, and then you don't, if you have space, then you can add what you want to eat. Right? Like, for example, I get really great urge that I want to have that ice cream. Right? And so what I should do? I should eat 1 or 2 apples, and after eating those 2 apples, if I still have urge to eat the ice cream, I'll eat some ice cream. That's okay. So I need to eat what I should eat first, and then I eat what I want to eat. And that usually helps most people. How to measure it. So in our program, I tell people to have this freestyle libre and tracking what you eat, right? And I'm not asking people to do count calories or measure your macros or anything like that. Just simple, take a picture of your food. Every time you eat, you take a picture of your food and you log it, you can actually see what goes in your mouth. Because what happens, most of the time, what we think what we are eating is actually very different than what we are actually eating. So just tracking that way is good. I don't like people weighing themselves. Weighing yourself is not a good idea because it's a wrong measure. Like if you weigh yourself, it's a total of your fat mass, muscle mass, bone mass, water mass, and you doing all the right things. You're eating healthy, you're exercising, now you gain a little bit more muscle, you lost a little fat, but your number stayed steady. And then you feel deflated, that dang, I'm doing all these right things and my weight is not changing. Because weight is the wrong measure. Weight is not a good measure to track. Body composition scale may be a little bit better. But I tell people, weight loss should be a byproduct. I'm going to do all these things because those are the right things to do. That's my goal. And if the weight loss happens, or if I become healthier, that's good, right? It's not the goal. I'll just say one thing about how to recognize ultra-processed food. Most people, when we eat, people are looking at fear. It's like, what's the fat content or carb content? We need to be looking down here. Like, what is the food actually made out of? So if you're looking at food packaging, and if you cannot pronounce something, and it sounds chemically, or it has more than 4 or 5 ingredients, you shouldn't be eating it. My grandmother has had so many wise sayings, I'll say a few of them. She used to say, eat your food like medicine. Eat your food like medicine, or you will be eating medicine like food. Right? She also used to say, if you put the food up on the shelf, and if it doesn't go bad for more than 3-4 days, you shouldn't be eating it. I say, Grandma, that doesn't make any sense. And she'll say, if bugs are not willing to eat it,